So I just wanted to finish off the video with a few tips, thoughts, suggestions for any of you out there who are completely new to tapping. Let's start off by talking about the actual tapping finger itself. In the lick, you would have seen that I was using my first finger to tap, and that I obviously did not have any pick in my hand. Now in the real world, you'll usually be playing with a pick and transitioning from picking notes to tapping, back to picking, and so on. So in that case, there's a couple of ways to approach it. One way is to take the pick and tuck it under your middle finger like so, and then tap while holding the pick there. Another way to do it is to continue holding the pick between your thumb and first finger and tapping using your middle finger, like that. This way of doing it is much better if you need really quick transitions between picking, tapping, and back to picking. If you're completely new to tapping though, my suggestion is to get rid of the pick and just use your first finger. That way you can completely focus on the technique, and as you get better at it, you can then add in the pick and start practicing that way. Let's move on to the lick itself. I'm not going to go through it note for note. I'm just going to go through the beginning, because if you can play the first 3 notes, you'll be able to play the whole thing. It's actually a lot simpler than you might think. It's just a 3-note sequence of notes that repeat over and over and over. So the first thing is we put our first finger on the 5th fret and we hold it there. We're not going to take that off. The first note of this 3-note sequence is a tap on the 12th fret. Second note is a pull off with that same tapping finger. And the final note is a hammer on with our 3rd finger on our fretted hand. And that's it. So it's tap, pull off, hammer on. Tap, pull off, hammer on. If you can play that, you can play the whole lick, because all that happens is we continue that sequence, we just change which fret our tapping finger plays. It's just 12, and we go up to 15, 14, and 10. And that's all. It's a very effective tapping technique and pattern. The beauty of it is you can come up with your own patterns pretty easily. Some suggestions in doing that is you take 2 notes that you're going to be hammering on and pulling off here on your left hand or on your fretting hand, and then you just change the note that you play with your tapping hand. Another way to do it is to play 1 note with your tapping hand and change your fretting hand. And then you can combine the two and move them both around. A great example of this is one of the most famous tapping songs of all time, and that's Eruption by Eddie Van Halen. He pretty much uses that 3-note sequence. So he's just moving the left hand around and the right hand around. One last suggestion or tip, and this relates back to when I first started learning how to tap many years ago, and that's to do with the pull off with the tapping finger. When I first started, I would tap and pull off with a sort of downward motion, kind of like how you would hammer on with your fretting hand and pull down. The problem with that, though, I find, is that it's not a very smooth movement. In a weird way, your finger kind of grips to the string a bit too much, and it's not very smooth. So a simple solution to that is just to actually pull off in the other direction. So you want to pull upwards, but sort of away from the fretboard as well. Otherwise, you will hit other strings. So it's a tap and a flick up and out. And you want to keep that motion pretty small. So there's just a few tips and suggestions for any of you out there who are new to tapping. If you've got any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.